Exponential functions. Let's start with an example. Let's say that you have your cold kombucha and you bring it out from the fridge. And the fridge is 2 degrees. So we bring it out from the fridge at 2 degrees Celsius, and room temperature is about 20 degrees Celsius. What's going to happen over time to the temperature of that kombucha? So we're going to start here. Starts here coming out. It's going to rise to 20 degrees C. Exponential functions help us express that because what happens is it rises at first because the temperature difference is large. It rises at first quickly, and then it slows as it gets closer and closer to 20 degrees. It will slow to that 20 degrees. It won't rise above because there's no heat potential to say, okay, rise above 20 degrees. So it rises up toward 20 degrees Celsius and then stays there. So what we call this, as it rises, this is the initial temperature, but this final temperature, it rises up to here, and this is the asymptote. It will rise to the 20 degrees and essentially get there in practice, but in mathematically it does not, for the equation that expresses this. So what we want to do is talk about all of the options on this. There are 4 different graphs that could be drawn for exponential functions. This is one of them. And then the final example here, we have our kombucha example, looking at rising up to a temperature and staying here in the asymptote. Let me draw these asymptotes. I think that will help explain that it will not cross these lines. It doesn't have to be at the axes, but it does show it goes up to the line and then does not cross past it. Okay, so what's an example of these? We already have one example, of course, the kombucha. So what's a good example of the other ones? How about your bank account here? If you put money in at a compounding interest, so this would be bank interest. Or maybe the growth of a bacteria. If you give bacteria the right amount of food and temperature, it will grow exponentially. And this one, dropping like this, I think we looked at an example before. How about the bouncing ball? As a ball bounces, it will reduce in height as it goes. As it continues to bounce, it will reduce lower and lower in height. And this one, exponentially growing but negative, what would that be? How about the Visa card or any charge card? If you don't pay, if not paid.